Well, two.
Two.
The house went on the market originally about Mother's Day last year, and that experience wasn't a successful experience, and subsequent to that the house went off the market.
Alright, well, I can probably tell you because I probably dealt more with that person, and we found that we were always following inspections, we were always following the agent up. We were asking, okay, so how did it go, how many people came, and so on and so forth. Sometimes we couldn't even get through to the agent, so that was really difficult and really frustrating because we had never put our house on the, well, we hadn't put our house on the market for 17 years, so it was a very difficult and challenging process for us. So that was, and of course, after, it seemed as though that there just wasn't any interest in the house, so we thought, look, we're not going to persist with this. I think the house was actually only on the market for about 6 weeks, 6 or 8 weeks, but it was a really debilitating process. I think that's the only way we can describe it. We felt like we were pulling teeth all the time trying to get information about, if anyone was interested and so on and so forth. So we ended up just taking the house off the market. Communication, sensational. I guess me as the person who tended to be more communicating with Troy, I would ring him, he would always answer. I would text him, he would text back. He would be proactive. I wouldn't be just asking the questions or initiating the communication. Troy would actually be initiating communication with me. And I know not only was he communicating with me, but he was also communicating with the buyer as well. And there was a lot of communication, a lot of liaison that went on between both parties, which just made the process seamless.
Yeah, nothing seemed too much trouble.
Yeah, I was just going to say that I guess that from my perspective, I see Troy as a really ethical estate agent, which a lot of people may not describe as real estate agents like that, but I mean, he was really ethical and honest and transparent in the process of dealing with him. So it was just a wonderful, it was a great process.
Well, it's been a really valuable experience. It's been a good experience this time, and at the end of the day, we got the result that we wanted, which was the sale of the house, and we've been absolutely delighted with Troy and the way that he's marketed our home.
The other thing that I'm going to say that was different about Troy is his advertising, and I guess I've paid special attention to not only the advertising that Troy provided, but also the advertising for the house that we actually purchased, advertising of other houses that we just looked at, didn't purchase, and I've got to say that the advertising and the video presentation was absolutely sensational. In fact, friends of ours that weren't even selling said, or weren't even intending to sell, said, oh my goodness, I would buy your house. It looked so good on the internet. So that was a real point of difference. I think and I became very much aware of light and certain features in terms of photographs, in terms of the video, and I could see that was a really professional job and was a real point of difference between Troy and other real estate agents.
Absolutely, and you trust his judgment.
Absolutely, and I think I said to Troy that you are more expensive than some other real estate agents. But when you've got you pay for what you get, or you get what you pay for.
Absolutely.
And it was definitely from the moment of actually listing the property to the advertising to signing the contract, the cooling off, everything was just, nothing was too much effort for Troy, and we're certainly not related to him. The video. The video enabled people to look on the internet, to actually walk through our house, not to just see photographs, but to walk through our house, to look at different rooms of the house. And I think that was a real key feature of the advertising. Of course, there was the newspaper, even though that really wasn't required because I think we'd already received, it was already in process for being published in the newspaper, but we'd already received an offer and accepted an offer prior to that. But certainly there was a broad range of advertising and it was quality.
But the photography itself was a cut above, and it presented our home the way we envisage it. And certainly, if we looked at what we had before to what the photography and the whole, I guess, the package that was put together on our home, there was no comparison, and it was just quality. And it goes to the fact that Troy is a profession.
I guess just on that sort of advertising feature, when we initially put our house on the market last year, we actually thought the photographs looked okay. We weren't experts in, I mean that wasn't our business, we weren't experts, we thought they presented all right, but it was only when you see really good photography and really good video that you actually see it's not apples for apples. It was really different.
Troy would make suggestions and recommendations on moving furniture or doing this or doing that in preparation for people coming to the house, and he was spot on, and he was very sensitive to the fact that some of the things that you have in your home are really important to you and personal to you. But at the end of the day, he's the professional. This is his business, and he does it very well. And our home sold, as we said, in a very short space of time on the suggestions he was making.
In fact, I'll just give you, if I can give an example of one of the suggestions. We had a photograph that was taken in a studio not so long ago. It cost us a fortune. It was up in, and we were very proud of it. It was up in the foyer, and Troy sort of very delicately asked us if we wouldn't mind if we took it down. And I was really insulted, thinking that's a piece of artwork. It's not just a photograph. And anyway, we took it down and we put it away, and it was very interesting because when we did go and look at a couple of other properties with photos around, my kids were with me and they went, oh, I can see what Troy means. You want to project, when you go and look at another house, you want to project yourself into that house. You don't want to think it belongs or is owned by someone else. You want to imagine your furniture in there, imagine yourself in that house. And when there's personal touches like photographs and so on, it I guess makes the process of imagining yourself in that house all the more difficult. So we did take Troy's advice, and it was obviously good advice.
Yeah.
Ethical?
Well, I don't describe many people as being a man of integrity, but I describe Troy as that. He has integrity in his dealings with him. Yep. And I put a great deal of trust in what Troy tells us, and I guess that again goes back to what we said before about the relationship that you have. To us, that's really important. It's personal. Now I consider Troy a friend.